Welcome to Spirit of Change. My name is Shalini. We have with us on the set Sister Shireen from Tampa, US. She has been a regular practitioner of Rajyoga Meditation and she's written a couple of books, and she's with us here to help us understand how to deal with the different issues, which are quite stressful because they bring about some kind of change in our lives. Welcome, Sister.
Hi.
How are you?
Very well, very well. It's a pleasure being here with you.
And it's a privilege to have you here with us, as always. So, Sister, you were saying something very interesting about building relationships. When I think about building, the first thought that comes to me is the foundation.
Right.
So is it the relationship with the self that we can talk about?
Yes,
first?
yes. So this episode we can talk about the relationship with the self.
Yes.
I mean, there are many relationships, and you're right. First, there has to be a relationship with the self.
Yes. So how are we going to go about? What are the steps to building relationships?
Let me give you some steps. So the first step is the step of that I have to watch and see if I'm being influenced by someone.
Okay.
And if I'm being influenced...
That happens to a lot of us a lot of times.
Yes, at least observe yourself, right?
Yes.
And if I'm being influenced by someone, then it's like I'm getting an infection.
You mean negatively, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mostly, yes.
Yeah.
Mostly negatively. So if I'm being negatively influenced by someone, then it's like I'm getting an infection. So you have to watch yourself. Let's say if someone is angry, am I angry? If someone is, depressed, am I depressed? If someone is saying negative things about someone else, is it affecting me? So if I'm doing all of those things, that means I am being influenced.
True. And it's so important because, why do we even protect ourselves from a physical infection? Because
exactly.
I just want to be sure that, I'm fine so that I can do my other, whatever I'm supposed to do. So this also, in a way, if I'm getting affected, if somebody is, talking negatively about me, like you said, and I get hurt.
Yes.
So that
and then that means that I'm taking on the infection.
Yes.
Right. Just like if someone has a cold, you're not going to go stand next to them.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm going to protect myself.
You're going to protect yourself. Why would you protect yourself? Is because you care about the body and you don't want to get sick.
Yes.
And so if you care about building a relationship with the self, then this is the first protection you have to do. Is you have to see that you're not negatively being influenced by anyone.
Okay. But how do I do that? I mean, how do I protect myself?
We'll get into it.
Okay.
So that's the first step. So at least first observe. Observe and see.
If I have a tendency of getting
influenced.
True.
And the second step is past is past. That I have to leave the past in the past.
Don't recycle the past.
Yes, yes. That our present shouldn't be a recycled version of the past.
Yes.
And so what happens is many times I've noticed something 20 years ago, someone did something, said something, you're still thinking about it. 10 years ago, you're still thinking about it. 10 days ago, you're still thinking about it.
It's gone into that pattern.
Exactly.
Yes.
And so I'm thinking, when are you going to live? Because past is past.
Yes.
It's not coming back.
Right.
So that person said something or did something. So let's say it's like they've stabbed you once.
Yes.
Right? So by you thinking about it again and again, you're stabbing yourself again and again and again.
Yes, that's like giving yourself all the pain all the time.
All the pain all the time.
Yes.
And so if you keep doing that, then there cannot be a relationship
and
with
chances
yourself.
of your future also being miserable.
Yes. If you cannot make your present count, if you cannot make your present about you, about your original self, there is no future.
Yes.
Because your present is just a recycled version of the past. And so your future will also be a recycled version of the past.
Yes.
So if you want to change your future, you have to change your present.
Yes.
And if you want to change your present, you have to
let go of the past.
Let go of the past.
Yes.
And so this is a foundation for building a relationship with the self.
Yes.
Is let go of the past, don't get influenced. And then the third one is you have to see what kind of conversations you're having. with people.
Okay. Is that about building a relationship with
Yeah, with
myself?
anyone.
Okay.
So let's say if I'm having a conversation, every time I talk to you about something negative or about someone else.
Yes.
Then they cannot be a relationship with the self.
Yes. True.
If I want to build a relationship,
I totally get that, because there are a lot of times when I don't trust the other person because I talk about other people, and so somewhere, I have this feeling that, okay, yes, maybe, the other person is also talking about me. So I need to be careful about what I'm talking about other people.
Right.
Yes.
Right. And the other thing is, we have to be very mindful is if I'm doing actions to impress people, just to impress people.
But
because I'm living outside of myself. I'm living through someone else's eyes. I'm not living through my own eyes.
But again, sister, talking about the, the conditioning that we all have gone through as kids is, you say a poem, you dance, you do a fancy dress, you call people over for dinner, whatever it is about, a new car, it's always about impressing somebody else. And people feel it's so natural. Shouldn't I? But I get what you're saying, yeah.
It's not natural. It is an acquired thing.
Yeah.
And we should stop doing it. If we want a relationship with the self,
yes,
this has to stop.
True.
And I could go on. But
because that could be very approval seeking also.
Exactly. Mention just a couple more. The other one is I shouldn't be copying anyone.
As in the negativity?
No, any copying, no?
Any copying?
Yeah.
Not even copying a positive...
If you wear toned jeans, I wear toned jeans.
Okay. No, like, sense. Can I copy the positive behavior of others?
Yes, you could copy positive behavior, but usually we tend to copy...
the negative.
Like, not just negative. We tend to copy very body-conscious things. The other person says this, and I should say this. The other person...
yes.
The other person has 2 cars, so I should have 2 cars.
Yes. Or, the other person, gifted me this, so I think I should gift something like this.
Right.
We all are living in a... we are not original anymore. We are all copies,
How can you have a relationship with the self, with the true self?
The uniqueness of who you are.
The true self. Here I'm talking about the true self. How can you have a relationship with the true self if this is going on?
Yes.
And then this is the last one, and then we can do a meditation after this. Is you have to ask yourself, when was the last time you did something really nice for yourself? And then let's define nice.
Yes. Which made you feel complete and happy.
Exactly. When was the last time? And if you can't remember, now is the time. And the best thing that you can do for yourself is take some time and reflect on who you are eternally, not on the temporary role, temporary this, eternally who you are.
Could you just elaborate a little bit on that, the eternal self, sister, in case our viewers have missed out on, any of our past episodes?
All right. So what happens is, let's say this body, right?
Yeah.
All the relationships that come with this body is very temporary. Because as soon as I leave this body, the relationships end. So I'm talking about really spending quality time in meditation, reflecting on the eternal self, not on anything temporary.
Yeah. So it's like getting back to your core.
Yes,
nourishing your core.
Nourishing your core, getting back to the soul. Getting back to being who you are eternally. Eternally, we are always souls.
And that's such a comfortable feeling to be in.
And so if you reflect on the eternal self, and that is really doing something really nice for yourself.
Yes. So could we have a nice, quick meditation on that?
Sure. Let's take a walk. It's a still night. It's a full moon night. And I'm walking by the light of the moon. It's nice spring day, beautiful outside. And I come by a still lake. The lake is completely still. The moon is being reflected in the lake. And everything around me is completely quiet. I look at the stillness of the lake and I remember I'm a soul. I'm as still as this lake. I look at the fullness of the moon, the beauty of the moon, and I remind myself I am beautiful like the moon. Deep inside, I'm full like the moon. I reflect on the spring air around me, and I remind myself I am as peaceful and soft as the breeze. My mind is calm, just like the night. I am love, and I am peace, and I am eternal. This air around me, the lake, the moon, all of it is reminding me that I'm an eternal soul. I am still, I am beautiful, and I am calm. And with that stillness and that beauty deeply embedded within me, I drink in everything around me, and I keep reminding myself, I'm an eternal soul, I'm an eternal soul. And with that thought, I come back to the here and the now. Om Shanti, I am peace.
Thank you, sister. I was just thinking the image of a silent lake. And what, like you said, connecting to my true self, a lot of times there's a lot of turbulence. This is a silent lake, but there are a lot of times when there's a lot of turbulence on the surface. And that is when I find it very difficult for most of us to go within, to go to the deeper layers, which is very silent. Even if you look at an ocean, which may look very, turbulent on the outside, is quite silent inside. So there might be a lot of good qualities in me. I may be thinking that I'm an angry person because somebody...
That's just on the surface.
Yes, or somebody told me that as a kid, that I'm not good enough, or probably, I'm a loser or something like that. But I need to go deeper within myself.
Deeper. And the way to go deeper is to start somewhere.
Yes.
You have to start somewhere. You can't go deep right away.
Yes.
You start somewhere, and the more you reflect on something, the deeper the experience is.
Yes, because for a lot of people, sister, it's very easy to, for them to communicate with others. We literally run away from going inside. We find it easier looking for things outside. Like there's a very famous story that a kid lost his keys, and he had lost it in the dark, but he was looking for it under the light pole. And he said, so people asked him, why are you looking, where did you lose your keys? He was like, I lost the keys in the darkness, but because I don't think I can find it there, I'm trying to look for it here. in the light. So for a lot of people, because it's very difficult for them to go across that turbulence in the mind, what can be the few steps which can help me to actually go past that turbulence? And then with practice, it'll become easier.
We have to have patience. We have to have patience with the self. Like any relationship, no, it doesn't come easy. And so for so long, we have been running away from ourselves. And so now, let's say I want to build a relationship with myself. All of these things keep coming up.
Yes.
So I have to really make it work. I have to be determined. I have to be patient. And I have to say, I have to make this work.
Yes. I was thinking of God here also, how He can help me, to have a better relationship with myself. Because all the time I'm around people who might, I might be hearing to all the negative comments.
It's a totally different topic.
Sister, what I wanted to ask you is, a lot of times we do not have enough patience for the self. So could you tell us about, some brief steps or, one step which could help me to develop more patience with the self?
You have to ask yourself, let's say you want a relationship with someone, beautiful girl or a guy or whoever, and you really fell in love with them. You would do anything to start talking to them. You would do anything to go after them, and you would do anything to develop a relationship with them. And so you are really important, because people come and go in
your life,
but you will always be with you. You're not going anywhere.
Right. And if I learn...
And not just in this life, life after life, you're with yourself.
Yes. So if I need to learn to enjoy my own company.
You need to enjoy your own company. You need to really be with yourself. You need to develop that relationship. So patience just doesn't come and say, oh, I want patience. You have to remind yourself why you want it.
Yes. And also, if I talk about, building a beautiful relationship with somebody else, and I want the relationship to start working, I'll start focusing on the positives. So I can also start doing that with myself.
Exactly. Yeah. You create this whole idea about someone else, no? So the same thing you have to do about yourself. Of course, but based on the eternal self.
Yes.
Start reflecting on the eternal self. Start saying with determination, with patience, I'm going to do this, and this is something I have to do.
Yes. And the eternal self is so beautiful anyways.
Right.
So thank you for being with us today, sister. And we'll talk about the other relationships in the coming episodes. I would love to talk about the relationship with God.
Sure.
Thank you. So did we ever think, for most of us, that I need to build a relationship with myself? Because when we think about the word relationships, we often think about other people. We think about, maybe my environment, my work, but it all begins with the self. And we did explore that today. We will be talking about how to build other relationships as well. Thank you for staying with us.